members, and welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
This is episode...
100 and something.
Yeah, something. We stopped counting because I ran out of fingers and toes. We did not do an episode last week. We have been updating or upgrading our equipment, and we had a long and involved, sometimes with hammers, experience with updating our modem router.
It was all cocks.
It was
They didn't know what they were doing, even though I told them what they should be doing.
So by the time we got it done, we were both pretty much done and called it a night. And then Josh and I recorded Rebel Files, so we got back on the cart there. But we're actually going to talk about some of the San Diego Comic-Con stuff later on, mostly the Marvel stuff. But we'll cover some other things that we wanted to do this week. That's right, Gryffindor's in the house. For those of you on the podcast feed, I'm wearing a Gryffindor shirt, repping the correct houses.
Whatever. Don't be a hater. Ravenclaw's better.
Just not Slytherin. Let's get into this week's show. It was reported today. There's not a ton of news. Let's start off with that. Because San Diego was 4 days of news dropping.
All the news.
And then Monday and Tuesday, they did all the non-comic book kind of based news.
Yeah. Dropped a couple of trailers, and
we got Won't You Be My Neighbor? What's the Bullet? No, wait, I have notes. Zombieland 2 and Gemini Man all last week. They don't really have a place at San Diego, so that kind of all makes sense. But surprisingly, we got news today that It Chapter 2 is going to be 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yay! Cool.
I am not shocked by this news one bit.
No, how long was the last one?
Like 205 or 210 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you've seen the book, it's 7.5 inches thick. I mean, it's 1.5 million pages,
give or take a million.
A million. That's close. But I mean, it makes sense that it's going to be a long movie.
Well, and it's the second one, right? So they got to wrap it all up. So maybe they got in there and realized they can't wrap it all up in 2 hours.
Yeah, and the trailer's been awesome.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah.
And
cool.
The director's cut on the Blu-ray is already going to be 3 hours plus. So
for
It Chapter 2, yeah.
All right.
So that's pretty.
So then they they cut a bunch of stuff.
They cut a bunch of stuff, right? Which could mean it could be even scarier. Yeah. I'm not going to sleep for a month.
Oh my God.
One of the things we did talk about a couple weeks ago was the Irishman, the Martin Scorsese movie that we thought we'd never see. Well, it came out that it is going to open up New York Film Festival, which is from September 27th to October 13th in the NYC. So they're going to start the film festival. It's not Telluride, it's not Cannes or Cons or whatever, however they pronounce it. It's not TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival.
Yeah.
But it's like the next tier down.
Okay.
And them getting the Irishman is actually kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
But we actually have a date where I'll be out in the world, and then it comes out in Netflix shortly thereafter.
Okay.
So,
all right. We'll see.
2 years plus we've been hearing about this movie.
It better be worth it.
Right? Because, goddamn. Martin, get your shit together. And somehow Leo's not in it.
Well, he was busy.
He was not doing anything for a while. And then they talked about it today on Collider Live. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which we're going to review here next, was his first movie that he was actually in 4 years.
Since Revenant.
Revenance.
Yeah. Well, that was probably a pretty. I mean, he kind of got into that role, right? He lost some weight and grew out a beard, and kind of dramatic.
He had like 2 or 3 movies coming out, like the 4 years before that, he had like 3 movies a year coming out, and not really taking a break, and none of that was big like tentpole franchise movies.
Yeah.
And he did Revenant and said, I'm gonna take a break, and then somehow got an Oscar for that one and not some of the other ones he was in. But he was in a Quentin Tarantino movie called Django. The D is silent. But
Django.
The Django. So Quentin Tarantino's new movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, came out this last week. It opened for $40 million, which is Quentin's biggest opening ever.
Wow.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah.
We are going to do a short review, spoiler-free. And I say spoiler-free because there's stuff that could happen that there's some spoilery kind of stuff that could happen.
Right.
We don't want to.
Yeah.
We don't want to get too deep into it.
Right.
But we do want to talk overall about how we felt about it. So, how did you, without spoiling it, how do you feel overall with the movie now that we've had a couple days to kind of let it sit?
Oh, I still like it. I probably like it even more. Right. Like I might want to see it again, but that's a 3-hour commitment I'm not sure I'm ready to make right at this moment.
Right.
Because we have other things to do. But I think we own all the Quentin movies except Jackie Brown.
Yeah.
I think that's the only one that we...
And Death Proof, but it's kind of a...
Yeah.
It was kind of something different, so...
Yeah, well, I mean, I like it, but...
I'm checking my yes for the podcast people. I keep forgetting you're there.
But we still love you anyway. Yeah, and those are like, if we find them at Zia, we'll totally buy them. But we own most of the Quentin movies, so I'm sure that we'll be buying it, and we can sit in the luxury and comfort of our own home and watch it over and over and over again. But,
yes.
It's Quentin, so there's always stuff that you don't catch the first or 5th or 10th time.
Yeah.
The music was amazing. If you have seen it or not, I mean, there's nothing spoilery about the music, but
no.
Spotify has kind of a channel set up, and they've got the music and then a 50-minute podcast with Quentin. I haven't listened to it, so I don't know who does the actual who the moderator
with. Right.
interviewer. There you go. Is if it's part of another podcast or something.
Right,
but
right.
Yeah, so you can go to Spotify and check out the music. It was very much Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It is a
homage to the
late 60s, early 70s.
60s LA specifically, not necessarily the Hollywood scene, although that is the backdrop to everything that's going on, but it's very much an homage to that time period, and I really appreciated that. Like, I appreciated it's a tiny little spoiler. They closed Sunset Boulevard and filmed with the cars and the people and stuff like that on Sunset Boulevard.
I don't think that's a spoiler. I've seen pictures.
There's been pictures, and I mean, I think it was in the trailer a little bit too, but.
And they redid the storefronts. I mean, obviously that stuff doesn't look like that anymore.
Yeah, it was,
and the what is the name of that cemetery where everybody's buried?
Oh yeah.
Something Acres or something. They do a drive-by, like Brad Pitt is on the freeway on, like, I don't know, the 5 or something.
Pick a freeway name.
And he drives by that cemetery, and there's, like, last time I drove by there, they pretty much can't bury anybody else in there because it's full. And there was all kinds of space. And I was like, because I pointed to it, but I was like, I'm not gonna. But I'm like, oh my god! And then he's on the freeway, and there's like 5 other cars on the freeway.
Right.
I'm just giggling.
Right.
I was like, what? Where's all the people? Oh yeah, this is
There was
almost 50 years, over 50, no, 50 years ago.
There was a Ferrari. It's a 285 GT.
Oh, that Sharon Tate's driving around in?
No, that was
a Porsche.
That was the Porsche.
Yeah.
There was a $20 million Ferrari sitting there. There was like a $80,000 Jag XKE sitting there. Like there was like some, and then there was like this beat old clunker of a VW Rabbit, whatever it was.
Some VW buses and stuff. Yeah, they definitely.
They had the car thing down.
Yeah, there was. I mean,
we're totally talking about the aesthetics of that because this is really the only thing we could talk about.
Yeah, because we can't. Brad Pitt takes his shirt off. Leonardo acts in a movie.
So Brad Pitt might get an Oscar nomination for this movie. Because of what happens the last probably 25 minutes of the movie, that whole scene.
Some of the stuff leading up to it too.
Stuff leading up to it. He's really good, really good, and Leo is really good, and you forget that those two are like top of the pillar actors.
Yeah,
they just don't. You just don't think about them as big boy actors because they're not Meryl Streep or Tom Hanks or whatever, who are getting nominated and winning all the time for things.
And they're just not people that you see. They're not actors that are out being seen unless they're pimping a movie because they have to, right? But they're not like the Oscars or the Golden Globes or whatever. If they're not, there's a lot of actors and actresses that will show up to those things that actually don't have any vested interest. They're just there to be seen, and you never, like Leo, you never see.
I saw when Leo was taking his hiatus, I saw him on boats in the Caribbean with tons of hot chicks because he's Leo in the Caribbean on a boat full of hot chicks because I can't. Again, we're like off the rails about this review. I think overall, I really like it. It's full Quentin, but I will say differently than what we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
There's we will spend lots more time talking about what I saw in this movie, maybe in another week. Maybe we'll come back around to it and have another conversation about maybe a full, quote-unquote, spoilerly kind of conversation. Mostly because of what I want to talk about is the way he actually did a lot of the different things and how he shot it and the order and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And to talk about that, to give the details, is giving away what happens. And so I don't want to necessarily do that. But I do want to give it a score.
Okay. I'm going to say a 4.
I'm 4.25 right now.
Okay.
Maybe it might go up a little bit, but yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we also this weekend spent Saturday into Sunday morning watching The Boys on Amazon Prime. We did a full review of that. I will tag that to the end of this video. It's on the YouTube channel for those of you on the podcast feed. We did a full non-spoiler review on that. The Boys is a comic from Dynamite Comics that has been made by Amazon Prime. They've already been up for season 2. I have tons of questions about what they're going to do in season 2 now. But we really liked it. Spoilers for our review, but go check that out. It'll be where you can find it and stuff. Andy Serkis is in the running to direct Venom 2. There's no transition from Boys to Venom 2. So they're comic books.
So he directed something else, right?
Muad'Dib. Mogwai,
and it was not well received, correct?
It was not well received because it came out after the other Jungle Book, the Jon Favreau one,
and it was dark.
It was super dark. Like everybody said, from what I heard of it, that people who actually did see it said it was really well done. It was just a really dark version of that story, and people didn't want to see that, which I understand. but a lot of it was mocap, and so
that
was.
Yeah, that makes sense for him. I don't know. You know, in Hollywood, you're judged on your last project, right?
Whatever you did last.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, we'll see. I like that he's getting some recognition. The Academy won't give him an Oscar for
the
his
mocap
his
stuff.
mocap. Yeah. So
the other two
else,
that were are in the running right now, or at least have been in the talks, is Rupert Wyatt, who did Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and Travis Knight, who did Bumblebee.
Yeah.
So those are all three of those are actually really interesting picks.
And different.
And very different.
Yeah.
And I like each of them for their different like kind of thought processes and like what they're gonna bring to it. Who was it that did Ruben Fletcher did the first one, and he was set to do the second one, but they've kind of dragged their feet and things. The timing is off now.
Yeah.
And he's finishing up Zombieland 2, and they want to start. Sony wants to start production in November, and Ruben's like, I need a break, and so they're working on somebody. I liked all three of these choices. I wouldn't be upset with any of them. As much as I wasn't a huge fan of the Venom movie, I would like to see more in that universe, and maybe rewatching the movie with some fresh eyes would be interesting.
Yeah, and I think Travis Knight is an interesting pick because, like, I think both of us were like, if the rest of the movie had been what the last 20 minutes was, we would have been totally in, because it was kind of almost the buddy cop.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, the bickering back and forth.
Yeah.
And
Travis Knight seems like he might be
kind of did that in Bumblebee.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And, yeah, so I think that would be really kind of a cool, interesting way of doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm not even opposed to Rupert Wyatt. I really like the Rise of the first one, the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, but that one's much more of an intellectual kind of think about it. Kind of it's Rise. War's the last one. I can't remember. Anyways, but it's I like the idea of Travis Knight with the buddy cop and actually just lean into the comedy. Hell with it. Just bring in Edgar Wright and go full Edgar Wright on Venom 2. Why not?
I think Edgar likes to do his own thing.
He does. Although I just read something that there is a script. There's a finished script and a title for Baby Driver 2. With everybody coming back and Edgar directing it and writing it and stuff.
That's interesting because of the theories around the end of Baby Driver, and that one of the theories is, okay, this movie's a year and a half old, so
spoilers or whatever.
That everything that happens in the end where Baby gets out, and I don't remember the girl's name. Deborah, yeah, Deborah is standing there, you know, next to the car, and they get in the car and they take off. That is just a dream
sequence, yeah.
And so yeah, we'll see.
I don't care. It's Edgar Wright. I don't care what Edgar Wright does. If he does a full-on gore-fest horror movie, I'm going to go see it. Edgar Wright's one of my favorite directors.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Deadpool.
Let's talk about Deadpool, baby. No, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work as well. This will lead us into the Hall H, a little bit of the Hall H conversation. The Hall H has been kind of covered by everybody, so we'll just talk about it in passing. But I'm going to say this. Ryan Reynolds is a clickbait asshole. He posted a picture yesterday of his yarn chart of, and actually he had, the caption was, investigation heading into year 5, or as I call it, phase 5. The point is, I love a good conspiracy yarn, hashtag leak anniversary. And it was the 5-year anniversary yesterday of the test footage being released at Comic-Con, at San Diego Comic-Con, of them showing what they could do with Deadpool. And it was the freeway scene where he's drawn the Ajax with the crayon and stuff and listening.
Yeah.
to TLC, and so that was leaked by someone random. It was Ryan, and and so the picture has been kind of modified from the original one, and there's been some added things and different things added, removed and stuff. But the thing was, heading into year 5, or as I call it, phase 5.
Right.
So
like Marvel
phase 5. Feige has already said, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Or as Christian Harloff said the other day, if it's not fixed, don't break it. He has also said that rated R is on the table, and they've also said they possibly have an idea what to do with Deadpool within the MCU. So all the X-Force stuff that they were working on and all that kind of stuff is out the window because that's all part of the old Fox deal. But
well, they're all dead anyway, so.
Well, yeah, except for Cyclops and Teenage Mutant Ninja Sonic Warhead.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of the people that were jumping out of the plane with them.
Yeah. That's okay. That X-Force.
All right.
That ended badly. So, okay, let's talk about this for a second. Ryan Reynolds is straight out telling everybody Deadpool's in phase 5.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
To follow after the announcements of phase 4 in San Diego at the panel last weekend, at the end, Feige said, we don't even have time to talk about Captain Marvel 2, Black Panther 2, Fantastic Four, and The Mutants. He didn't say X-Men, he said The Mutants.
Right.
And Deadpool falls in that category.
And there's already a ton of stuff, because we were watching, was that Fat Man Beyond, or was that...
Fat Man Beyond last night.
Last night, and Kevin was going through the schedule, the little poster thing that they released, and there's like every 6 months there's something coming out, whether it's in the movies or TV.
There's 10 shows and or movies. I say it that way because some of them are connecting with each other.
Yeah.
They all connect with each other, but there's some direct connections with some of them. There's 10 between the beginning of 2020 and the end of 2021.
Right. So where are they going to fit all that stuff in?
So I think D23, they will lay out, maybe not like what they did at San Diego with here's the schedule of what's coming.
Yeah.
But more of, okay, we told you what phase 4 is. Here's what phase 5 is. Phase 5 is Blade. It's going to be rated R. It's going to be Deadpool 3. It's going to be rated R. They're going to do something funky and set up mutants.
Right, but I'm saying like Captain America.
Captain Marvel.
Or Captain Marvel. Captain America. Well, Captain Marvel and Black Panther 2. Where are they fitting those in?
Yeah.
They need to happen soonish.
And they have to happen soonish. And there's things like they need to start production on, if they're going to start in, let's say, they're looking at Captain Marvel for a spring 2023. They're already working on the script, and they need to get into production here.
That seems long. Like, I don't know. Because that would be, it came out the beginning of this year, right?
Yeah.
So that would be 4 years in between.
19, 20, 21, 20, 22,
23, that's 4 years.
Yeah.
So they're going to go 4 years, and Black Panther came out last year.
Yeah.
So they're going to go 5 years in between that you're going to lose your momentum.
Unless they're going to have them have Captain Marvel and Black Panther show up in something like the Eternals, or
I don't know.
Or you're going to do something like Black Panther's going to be the one who introduces Shang-Chi in the Shang-Chi movie, or
it just feels like a guest appearance isn't going to be enough.
Yeah.
Black Panther was gigantic.
Yeah.
It opened up a whole bunch of doors and minds and eyes, and and won awards, and you're going to wait 4 or 5 years to bring out another one?
Yeah,
that just seems.
I'm not arguing the point. But this is one of the things I'm having a problem with. What people talking about online is that they're all like, I don't know how this is all going to happen, and I'm really nervous about the TV shows. Nothing has been shown where Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios have failed us.
Right.
Some things haven't been to the level that we wanted. Thor, although I still think Thor: The Dark World is much more important now than it used to be, but it's not nearly as good as some of the other stuff. And we got Inhumans, which I don't think was anybody's really fault at Marvel Studios. I just think that they tried something. They tried an experiment and it didn't work. But everything they have done, every decision they have made has been amazing.
Right.
And why people are like, oh my God, I just don't trust them about what they're going to be able to do. How can you not trust them? There's 23 movies out there that have been amazing. Okay, maybe a couple that weren't amazing. They were just okay.
Yeah.
We got 23 movies out there that changes the face of movie making as we know it. And oh, by the way, in the top 10 of all-time movies, there's like 6 of them.
Yeah.
So don't tell me people aren't going to see these things. And so just, I trust. I have full trust.
Right.
I will have full trust until you do 4 or 5 in a row and go full DC.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, everything they're going to put out, I'm going to go out and watch it as soon as I possibly can and get at it. So
yeah.
The only other thing that I really wanted to talk about was the story that came out about Mahershala Ali.
Yeah. Yay.
Yay. He called Kevin Feige, and Kevin Feige said, if a 2-time Oscar winner calls you, you answer the phone. And Mahershala said, I want to do Blade. And Kevin said, well, we will figure that out. And it wasn't Marvel Studios and Feige going to Mahershala, it was the other way around.
Yeah.
And he's actually been on this wanting to do Blade for several years. And the idea of someone of his caliber of acting, but also, and this is going to sound really weird, also his age. He's in his early 50s.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And so, so the idea of having an older Blade who's been through all the stuff,
yeah,
and also having him be within the MCU universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Malkovich.
But having him being like on the street kind of person, and then something big happens, like something happens in the Eternals or whatever, and now we have vampires and so, all kinds of like weird stuff. So just bringing somebody like that who's on the lower levels of the fight compared to what we've had is going to be really kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited.
They go to space, which is kind of what they've been saying. Everybody's been saying that the Marvel Universe is going into space. He could be more of the still here on planet Earth fighting the whatever.
The talk has been you have the TV series are all going to be on on Earth. You got Spider-Man who's going to be on Earth, and then everything else is probably going to go out.
Right.
And then eventually what the big thing will be is probably Galactus will be into Phase 5 or Phase 6.
Big bad.
And be bad, and then they'll come up, kind of push their way back.
Yep.
So that's we'll have a full-on more discussion about Marvel, I think, as we get after D23. So we'll let you know about how all that breaks out. That's our show this week. Let us know what you thought in the comments. Be nice. That is a requirement. Please like this video. Help us out by subscribing to the video feed of your choice, the podcast feed of your choice that you're listening to us. That helps us. Every click there helps us with sponsorships and everything like that.
Yep.
Patreon. We have a Patreon going. Social media stuff. All of that stuff is in the description. I'm tired. It's just been a thing. And until next time, good afternoon, cult members. Good evening, cult members.
Good morning.
And good night.